I met a gypsy.
That's sick. Hey, so before you go, are you busy in June?
June, when?
First,
June 25th and 26th is I think when we're gonna have our
the wedding. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm getting married in July.
Okay.
The Big Hill Jam. I think that's what we're planning on right now. The 25th and 26th. I think.
What's
going on?
Manji and Finke.
Oh, Manji maybe. Fink I'm scared of.
I'm definitely scared of Finke.
That name's Fink. The name just sounds like, oh yeah, the Fink. Sounds like something out of Mad Max.
Bro,
seems like a scene out of Mad Max.
It is a scene out of Mad Max. It's fucking wild. Yeah, so we're gonna drive. Me and Sammy are gonna do. We're gonna drive to Manji again, and then this year I want to get like basically a bunch of people last year said that they wanted to like do that drive with us and like race it. So I'm gonna basically like we'll have some convoy meetup points, and then we'll try and get like a gypsy gang convoy driving over there. And then so Finke is the weekend after. So we're gonna have like two trucks. So we'll have like our van drive to Manji, and then we'll have another truck drive out to Finke, and then we'll drive to Finke, do the race, and then on the Monday morning with a real sore head we'll fly to Alice Springs, and then our desert bikes will be there, and then we'll like start pre-running for a couple of days to try and get the course semi dialed in, and then just basically try and survive. So it'll be 3 weeks, well I guess it'd be like 2 full weeks of just like epic dirt bike shit, but I'm fucking scared. Like I can't front on that at all. I'm definitely scared to do it, and I mean it's gnarly. Like I was pretty beat up after Manji. I had like a fairly sizable crash in the first moto. I just I started running earplugs when I ride, and then I just had like a YZ250 up my inside that I just couldn't hear the dude, and I pretty much just like cross jumped straight into him, took my own front wheel out, and it was like a 4th gear fucking yard sale. So yeah, it's gonna be like hard to just get out of Manji in like good enough condition to then go and do the hardest race in Australia essentially.
Yeah, I think you're gonna be digging sand out of your crack for a long time after that. That's gonna be a heavy week. Like you probably won't want to look at a dirt bike for a long time after that. I did Manji once. Manji was sick, but Manji's gnarly. Like at least on the pro side, you ride so much. Mm-hmm. The motos weren't super long, but like I feel like we did like 6 motos between like, because you kind of have like a couple standard motos, and then you have like, don't they have
back
like
to back 15 or whatever,
like elimination? They have like an elimination moto. Like if they start out with like 40 or whatever, and then like they take 20, and then they take like 10, and then they had like those like 2-lap sprint motos. Or is that the same thing? I don't know.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's the it was the same race. Yeah,
yeah, it's gnarly. And then the Finke, like I don't know, I'm scared of that stuff. Like those guys are too fast. They're too ballsy. Like I ain't trying to go as fast as I can go on a dirt bike, not knowing what's in front of me. If there's like a kangaroo or just any even over here a deer or coyote or just something, like dude, that's just. It's life and death. Like you gotta, and you don't know what's around the corner. It could be, like I've always been afraid to do. People always try to talk me into doing Baja, but Baja's gnarly. Like, there's dudes that just live out there. They're bored and they dig booby traps just to see dudes like handle it or not. Like, it's so heavy. Like I don't know. That type of racing is not for me. I'm a closed course kind of guy. I mean, I love free riding. But when I'm out scouting, as if like anybody can keep up with me when I'm scouting for free riding. Like Molly can hop on an electric bike and keep up with me when I'm scouting for free riding for the most part. Yeah. Like, I don't go fast unless I know where I'm going. So
well,
good luck.
I'm kind of right there with you,
safe.
man. Yeah. The thing that's like the closest thing that I would have done is we rode to like the very tip of Australia. So we did like a 2-week, it was just a big camping trip. That's like when I talk about my first ever memories, like that's some of my first ever memories was like my dad would do that ride, and then we were literally just toddlers, like still in nappies and shit, or like diapers, and that's like all the photos that we've got is like us doing that trip. And there was like one section in particular where we rode it. It must have been like the first day or the second day, and I was on a KTM 450 like motocross bike, standard gearing, everything. I was just fucking broken, disorganized. So I had the shittest bike, and the first day we rode through this section, and I was doing like 80 kilometers an hour. So I don't know what that'd be, probably like 55. 45.
Fast enough.
Yeah. So, and I was like scared, and I'm like kind of cruising through, and it felt really, really fast to me to be doing that. And then 3, 4, or 5, 6 days later, when we're riding that exact same piece of trail on the way back, I was doing 140 on the like kilometers an hour. So, I mean, that's 75 mile an hour, and it was fun. And I was like, that's where. And I was the guy that was riding next to me, because you kind of ride in pairs, and then you've got like another pair in front of you because of the dust, and so you space it out, but you ride side by side. And so he's on this big KTM 500, and he's a good rider. And I didn't want to be the dude that was like keeping him up, you know. So I was like, oh, I'll just keep up. But we were both just pushing each other so fucking hard, and then we probably did like 40 minutes where we were just fucking wide open, and like this KTM 450 was just like valve bouncing in 5th gear. And then we pull over at this like this gate, like you have to open up these gates to go through these big cattle stations, and Thatch is like, I mean, we could settle down for this next bit. And I was like, dude, 100%, like we were moving. And he's like, we were doing 140 kilometers an hour for about 40 minutes. He's like, and he said what you say, he's like, man, kangaroos, foxes, like we definitely got to slow down. And I was like fucking not trying to be a hero, but you just get used to going, you know, when you're on a trip like that and you're riding all day, every day, like we're in the saddle for fucking 8 hours a day, that speed thing just sort of slowly starts to go away, and you just end up going so fucking fast.
Yeah. It's almost like Glen Helen at the end of the day. Just the track gets worse, but you just get used to just like, it's like, like you know what I mean? You just get numb to like go. You shouldn't be going faster, but somehow your lap times get better. Just like you're just used to that, like being uncomfortable, wide open. You're like shaking, like you know what I mean? Like you've been sitting in the saddle for so long. You're like, yeah. I mean, I guess that's probably the closest thing that I could compare that feeling to. I mean, I've gone on some rides, but that's not me, dude. I'm not a high speed guy. Even like the only time I get like to go 5th gear pinned is if I know I got like a perfect runway to a perfect jump, and then you know what I mean. That's fun to me, but yeah, I don't know. Need a good landing.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.